Hello and welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy. We are getting ready to start turn number 4 in the U.S. Civil War. One thing I need to do before we begin though is last turn, and a commenter called this out and I wasn't sure if I was doing it right, and that's why I appreciate the comments. Again, thank you to everyone who leaves comments with rules corrections to things I am not doing correctly. And one of the things I did not do correctly is I had 3 Confederate generals come into play, and I felt like I had nowhere to place them, or at least I didn't want to place them because there's just so many of these things. So there's 3 of these generals that I said I'm just going to put over here in this holding box and not put them out yet. Well, you can't do that. You have to, if you're able to put them out, you have to. So there were 2 generals. There was Bragg and who else here? Bragg and Cavalry Morgan were supposed to go into the west, and I put them in this holding box. This is a displaced box, I guess. So I'm going to have to put these out now. It's not going to hurt the game turn any from last turn. They should have just been stacked. I'm going to split them between these 2 existing stacks. So we're just going to put Bragg underneath A. Johnston here. Johnston, I should say. And then Morgan we're going to put under Polk. And Hardee is already there, it looks like. So again, this is frustrating because there's so many Confederate generals coming in with so few forces. Now that may change this turn. We're getting ready to go into the winter of 1862. The Union will not receive any strength points. The Confederates might. It'll either be 0 or just above 0. They're going to get 10 subtracted from their final total from their build points or their strength points, whatever they have totaled up. So Van Dorn goes into the Trans-Mississippi. The only place I can put him is over here with Polk, who has 2 strength points. So I'm going to put him under Polk, or Price, not Polk. And looking at this, Van Dorn's a 2-star, Price is a 1, and I think I probably have to make that 2-star the commanding general there. And so just a quick refresher here from the rule book, 7.2.2, the commanding general. When there is more than 1 general in a space, the highest ranking general must be designated as the commanding general. That makes sense to me. And not so good over here, though, for Springfield, because Price was a 114 and Van Dorn is a 105. So on the defense, they're going to lose that 1 bonus. So that is unfortunate. Now Springfield is looking, let's see how many strength points they have left. They only have 2 in there, and I think that is Curtis sitting outside. I think he had 5. He does. So I don't know. Things are not looking good in Springfield, Missouri. I don't know if it would be smart to maybe retreat those forces out of there. They are entrenched. They still get the +2. Nothing extra for the extra general because there's not 6 strength points or more in Springfield. So that's going to be unfortunate there. So that's going to take care of all of the errors that I made the last turn. So we are about ready to start turn number 4. But before we do, let's hear a word from the official sponsor of My Own Worst Enemy.
This channel is sponsored by nobody. I bet you thought I was going to say something different there. But yeah, nobody, because more of you need to subscribe to this channel and like the videos, just like nature intended.
All right, so now we are ready to start turn number 4. Like I said, it is winter. We're going to move the turn marker up to 4. You'll note on here it says no SP's reinforcement. Now that's going to apply to the Union. They will not get any strength points at all. The Confederates might get something, so they're going to have 10 subtracted from their total, and we'll go through that when we get there, which will probably be now because, like I said, the Union, if we look at the sequence of play, the first thing we do is the Union reinforcement segment, and none of these will appear. The 6 in the east, the 3 in the Ohio, Indiana, the 3 in the 2. None of that's going to happen this turn. So the next thing would be to place or upgrade 1 fort. Now they still get to do this, and I think we're up to, let's see, Washington is up here. I think we're up to a size 3 already in Washington, so I'm not worried about that anymore. So I'm not quite sure. I might want to build this fort Now it has to be, you still have to follow the restrictions for building forts and the rules, and that would be that it would have to be in a friendly controlled space, and it would have to be in full supply. And of course we would put it down on its under construction side and then it would flip. So let's see, where could we put this fort? And maybe down here with Buell, that's in Aero, that might be a good idea. And well, there's already a fort there. We could actually upgrade that fort. And maybe we want to do that. And then we could also build one over here in Henderson. That might not be a bad idea. I think maybe I'll do that. Let's just put a level 1 fort in there. All right, so I'm going to start a level 1 fort. And I'm going to, let's see if I can put this just outside where I can see that. I keep forgetting to flip these construction markers sometimes. We do have one we need to flip at the end of the Confederate turn over here in Richmond, so I've got to remember to do that. And so the next thing would be to, of course, do the strength points, but we don't have that. This is a winter turn. And the next thing is draw 2 special action cards, and we will get to draw 2 this time instead of 1 because we are now in 1862. So I'm going to draw 2 cards here for the Union. They already have a West card out. And looking back, so we're not using the advanced naval rules, so we won't have to worry about the last 2 bullets there, and that will take us now to Confederate reinforcements. And so the first thing we do for the Confederate reinforcements, upgrade 1 resource hex by 1 build point. Now we will do this. You still get to do this during the winter turn. And so I'm gonna grab the dice tower, and I'm looking for the random states table. As you'll remember, this is where we randomly place an arsenal. So I'm going to grab a Confederate D6, or 2 Confederate D6s, because this will be a 2D6 roll. So let's see, where is this arsenal going to be placed? That is a 9. So let's get this out of the way. And we will look up on the random tables. A 9 is Alabama. And I think we had an Alabama before. Maybe we didn't. And where do we want this arsenal to go? I'm going to put it in, we'll put it in Selma, Alabama. Let's do that. And that will increase our arsenal build points up to 4. And then we will go back to the sequence of play and determine the number of reinforcement strength points. So this is where we're going to count up our number of strength points that we would get. So we are currently sitting at our resource build points 96. So we're going to get 96. The arsenal count is up to 4. We'll get 4 for that. And now objective hexes controlled in Kentucky and Missouri. And this has changed significantly since last turn. We still have Springfield, so we're going to get 3 for that. But now we have Columbus, let's see, is that right? Yeah, Columbus, Kentucky here, Bowling Green here. So we'll get 3 each for those. And that'll give us the maximum that we're allowed, which is 9. So it's going to give us 9 build points, where before we were only getting 3 for Springfield. So you can see why turn 3, it's a good idea to move into Kentucky to grab those objective hexes. And that smart thing, I guess, we did there. Now, the final thing we're going to do is get our blockade runner build point. So let's do that. I'm going to bring the dice tower back into the shot. And of course, the sequence of play, or the player's aid card, will have the blockade table on it. Now we're going to be using a different column this time. We're going to be actually in the 1862 column. And the numbers start going down. They start ticking down as the blockade runners are strangled by the Union. So let's go ahead and grab our D6. So we will start, let's see, we start with the North Atlantic first, which we are currently at 5. So let's go ahead and roll the D6. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 8 is 10 in 1862. We'll get 10 for that. And now we'll do the same thing for the South Atlantic. We are currently sitting at 7. I'm gonna roll a D6. So that's 13, and that's gonna be the maximum too. So that's gonna be a 10. And then finally, we're gonna do the same thing for the Gulf, which is also sitting at 7. That's going to be 10, and again, that's going to be the maximum 10 for 1862. So we add all of that up, we get 139 build points. So from that 139, we're going to subtract 10 for maintenance. That's going to take us down to 129. And then it is winter, so we're going to lose an additional 10. So that's going to take us down to 119, and 119, we'll divide that by 10. That's going to give us 11 strength points to place. And I said that wrong. It is not 11 strength points. It's not 11 strength points because the minus 10 is not build points. It's actually strength points, which is really bad for the Confederates. So it's going to be 139 build points minus 10 build points for maintenance would take us down to 129 total. That would get divided by the 10. That would give us 12 strength points, but then you lose the 10 strength points because it is winter. So the Confederates will in fact only get 2 strength points worth of reinforcements this turn. And I thought that sounded a little high, and that's why I caught on the fact that I was actually thinking it was winter was 10 maintenance or build points, but really it was strength points. So the Confederates will get 2 strength points. Let me grab 2 Confederate ones. All right, and we will place these as per rules. One of these will go into the Trans-Mississippi, and then the odd-numbered one will go into the east. So the only place I can put one of those reinforced our strength points will be in Fayetteville, over here in the Trans-Mississippi, and then the one that I have, where will we put it? So this goes into the east in a resource hex that is in full supply, and I think I'm just going to throw it into Richmond. How many do we have there? 2. Yeah, so let's now have 4 in Richmond. So we'll flip this one over. We've got 4 in Richmond with a fort under construction. So with that done, now we're going to draw 2 special action cards for the Confederates. So we're just going to draw those and set them here for now. 1, 2, and we are looking at the only thing remaining now would be naval reinforcements. We have none of those. Next thing on the sequence of play, return displaced units and place militia. We have none of those to worry about. And now we go into strategic movement phase, starting with the Union, and we will start with strategic rail. And of course they get 12. And as a reminder, I'm doing right now where I just move rail, and then I'll do river, ocean, and road in order. You don't have to do those in order. You can do them however you see fit. But for now, I'm still going to continue to do this in order. And in this case, in turn 4, it's not going to matter a whole lot because we didn't get really any strength points coming in. So there's not going to be a whole lot of movement to do here. The really bad thing is I can't move any generals here. It's only strength points. And I don't really have a whole lot that I can move anyway. Like I said, we are in the winter here. And we do have a strength point in Lexington. And we could move that by rail down to, we've got 3 under Pope. And we've got Halleck sitting here with 4, 6. So let's see, we also have Buell. What does Buell have? He's in a fort with 2, 4. So I'm going to move this one that is in Lexington, and I want to make sure I don't leave Lexington. Yeah, let's just move this down with Pope. So Pope will now have, he had 3, he'll have 4. So we'll flip this to 2. Take that off. That's going to take us down to 11. We got a strength point sitting over here. I'm going to leave that there, though. I don't trust what's going on over here. Now, really frustrating, and this, I guess, is the frustration of winter. I don't think there's really anything else I want to move. The fact that I can't move generals kind of sucks. He's got 6, so I could pull some out of there from Fremont. I could actually send them over to Curtis or towards Curtis. We could send some of those 6 to Rolla, but I don't think it's necessary. Well, I shouldn't say that. It isn't necessary. We do need to take Springfield, Missouri. That has been a back and forth battle for quite some time now. He has 5, he being Curtis. I could send 2 more over there, maybe even 3. We've got 4 here. Let's do that. I'm going to send 2 to Rolla. So that's going to take Fremont down to 4. Is this the wise thing to do? I don't know, but we're going to do it. So Fremont goes down to 4. And we're going to move these by rail all the way to Rolla. So let's do that. And I am done moving things by rail, so let's go ahead and take this off the board as well. And then I said you could do this in order. I was going to do this in order, but at this point, it's not going to matter. Because what I'm thinking of doing is I can use road movement now to get one of these strength points all the way to Curtis. So let's take that back down to 1, and we're going to, Curtis is now going to have 6 sitting outside Springfield. I would not be able to do any more road movement in the Trans-Mississippi. I could still do road movement in the east and the west, but I'm not going to move anybody else. That's going to be it for strategic movement for the Union. So we will go into strategic movement for the Confederates. Now, let's see. Let's get the counter back out. They'll get to move 7 strength points by rail, and then 1 by river, and then 1 per theater by road. And so here, I think the smart thing to do would be to, I'm not going to use any rail. I don't want, we have 4 in Richmond, I believe. I could move those forward. So hold on a second here. Maybe I won't say we're not going to use any rail. We might just use rail. What's going on in Manassas here? Or under Beauregard, and of course 1 under Stuart. We probably want to leave that. And I don't know, that seems pretty light to have only 4 in Manassas right now. May want to bring those up, looking at what's going on in Stanton. Strasburg has 4. So I'm going to bring 2 out of Richmond, and we'll put those in Manassas. Let's see, if we take 2 into Manassas, that's going to give us 6 total under Beauregard. Let me grab a 6 marker. Beauregard's going to have 6. We still have 2 in Richmond that we could move. And maybe I want to move those 2, not north, but maybe I want to move those out west. We've got 2 more in Richmond. And we do have, I mean, it's unlimited distance by rail. We could get these 2 to Bowling Green. We could get them to Columbus, or we could even, could we get them all the way to the Trans-Mississippi? No, probably not, but we could get them close. Now we got a problem forming down here with Ship Island now has 3 Union units in it, strength points. So we might want to get some more forces down to the Mississippi, New Orleans area, because we're going to be in trouble. We already are in trouble. We really need to get this area beefed up. We are wide open down here. So coming out of Richmond by rail, we could certainly, and this all has to be in supply and contiguous and all that kind of stuff, but it is, we could get 2 strength points all the way down, it looks like. I could actually get those into, let's move this down to New Orleans. Let's do that. I believe I can do that because it is 2 strength points. That's going to leave Richmond open, but not a big deal right now, I don't think. I hope not anyway. So let's bring these on down to, all the way down to New Orleans, down here. So that's all I'm going to do by rail for the Confederates. And yeah, I don't like leaving Richmond open like that, but I think right now we're okay. So let's get the sequence of play card back out here. That's going to take us out of strategic movement. Now we will go into the leadership management phase. And this, of course, is where our leaders come in. And not just come into play, but we can also transfer them if we are allowed to do that. So let's grab the Union first. I'll grab the white ones here and we'll bring them off to the side. Grant is coming in. Butler's coming in, and Banks. So we've got 2 of these are going into the east. Grant will go into the west, which makes sense to me. Let's start with Grant. So Grant is going into the west. And where do we want Grant to go? We got 4 sitting there with Pope. Now Grant is a 225, a very powerful general indeed, as we would expect him to be. So there's 6 under Halleck, who's a 3-star. Grant's only a 2 right now. I'm sure he's going to be promoted at some point. And we have 4 under Buell, who is also a 3. So I'm going to put Grant with Pope. And he's going to be the commanding general now. So he's going to have 4 under him. So let's grab Butler next. Butler's a 3-star. He's a 0-1 red 3. So Butler is putting the butt in Butler, it looks like. So where do we want to put Butler? Not a very good general here at all. Let's put him, we have, and I can't put a 3-star in a fort, if I remember the rules correctly. Let me double check that. Looking at the rule book here. Yeah, so if a 3-star general, it may not be placed on an island or coastal fort unless it is replacing another general. Well, he wouldn't be replacing anyone there. And we probably could put him over here, though, in Charleston, West Virginia. The theater boundary for the east, he's got to go into the east, is, yeah, it looks like that's valid. So let's put him in charge of Charleston, those units in Charleston. And then finally, we have Banks also coming into the east. So he's a 2-star, and he could actually go into this fort. So let's do that. And we have a commanding general in Fort Monroe. And now let's grab the Confederates and do the same thing. And like I said, it's frustrating to have all these generals coming in and nowhere to put them. All right, we'll start with Jackson is a 225, another powerful general going into the east. 225 in the east. And what do we have? Here we still have Beauregard. Let me take all these off for a second again. So I think there's somebody else in there with Beauregard. No, it's just Stuart and Beauregard. And Beauregard's a 2. I could replace Beauregard. 114 with a 225. Goes back, and then over here we have Strasburg, but that's a 3, so I don't want to do that, but I could stack these together. Joe up there, and then we have just a cavalry leader there. What to do with Jackson? I'm going to put him in Manassas, and he's going to take over. He's going to command the troops, I think, instead of Beauregard now, so we're going to put in Jackson. We'll stack it to show that. And now we have Pemberton also coming into the east. And we're just going to put him in Norfolk here. And then finally we have, this is Magruder going also into the east. And like I said, there's just nowhere to put these things. I'm going to put them down here. It looks like there's a place in Florence. There's a 1 strength point way down here. Takes care of all of our leaders. And I'm looking at the, got to make sure I do this right. I always forget to do this. Make sure you look at what is in print down here, because there is a P Longstreet. So the P is a promotion. So Longstreet gets promoted here. And as I say that, also Banks, it says replace Patterson with Banks. So Banks should be replaced with Patterson and not just put out wherever I put him. I put him over here in Fort Monroe. So where the heck is Patterson? Patterson, I think, was in Harper's Ferry. Yeah, there he is. So he is a 004. Patterson comes out. Banks is now going to go in. That makes more sense. Felt kind of weird putting him in Fort Monroe there. So Patterson comes out, and I guess he's just out of play. I'm going to put him off to the side. So yeah, make sure you read the text that's under the turn marker, because there are some promotions and some replacements that happen. Anyway, promote Longstreet. So where's Longstreet? Don't really know where I put Longstreet. I got to find him. So let's start over here. Hardy, Morgan, Polk. A stack of generals over here. That's just crazy to me. Where is Longstreet? Is he in Manassas? No, I should know that because I just stuck those units in there. Manassas, who is that? That's Longstreet. Okay. Longstreet was in Stanton. So Longstreet gets promoted. So that means I don't have to go anywhere. I can just flip Longstreet. So this was Longstreet as he was, and then this now is Longstreet after his promotion. Well, that looks a lot better. So let's put him back in Stanton. And that's a much nicer looking general there now. Now that's going to end leadership management phase. So that is it for the leadership management phase. And now our favorite phase, the action cycle. And this being 1862, we will have 4 of these cycles now instead of 3. And by now you know how this works. We're going to roll 2d6, 1 for the Union, 1 for the Confederates, and we will see who gets the initiative, how many action points they'll get to take, and all that kind of good stuff. So let's start. This will be for the first action cycle. So let's roll. That is a 5 and a 6. So the Union's going to have the initiative here. And that's a difference of 1. And that difference of 1 will mean 1 action per theater. So let's look at the die differential, and I'm going to put that on 1. And you can see it says they're 1 per theater, with the Union going first. So let's do that. Let's start over here in the Trans-Mississippi. Now I can use that action point to move this unit. I could use it to attack with Curtis. He's got 6 against 2 only for the Confederates. Mighty tempting. Now they are entrenched, and they do have 2 generals, even though they do have 6 though. Wait a second. Let's see. Does that commanding generals? Let me look this up real quick. I don't think that's going to matter. And not commanding generals here, but I'm looking at battle. Additional generals is what we're really looking at. So from 0 to 6 strength points, only the commanding general, so that won't do us any good. They are entrenched, but they only have 2 strength points. So Curtis could wait for this strength point to arrive. The South does have another strength point, which I'm sure is going to move towards Springfield. I feel like we really need to knock the Confederates out of there if we can. He's 1-1-1. The Confederates, with their 2, the commanding general is Van Dorn. He's got a 0, so he wouldn't get anything for that. They would get the +2. Let's go ahead and do it. I think we're going to attack Springfield again. So let's go ahead and zoom into Springfield. And one thing I need to consider, so we did draw some extra action cards for the start of the turn. Let's look at the Unions real quick here. This is what the Union now has in hand. West, West, and East. So no Trans-Mississippi card. 2 Wests and an East. And then we'll look at the Confederates. They had Trans-Mississippi, an East, and a West. So they actually have 1 per theater. So let's remember that that's what they're holding in their hands as we conduct this battle. So I don't think the cards are going to do us a lot of good here, but let's go ahead and break this out a little bit. So there's the 6 strength points with Butler attacking. With our entrenched Confederates, there are 2 in the strength points. And our lead general is Van Dorn. So basically, no cards will be used here because we don't have one for the Union that could be used. They don't have an any or a Trans-Mississippi card. So we are going to be looking at simply a +1 for the attack value for Curtis. And the Confederates will get +1 for, no, I'm sorry, they'll get nothing for the commanding officer's defense rating there to 0, but they will get +2 for being entrenched in Springfield. So I'm going to grab the dice tower. Let's see, can I put this in here where we can see it? Without knocking other units off the board. I guess I could, let's see. Like I said, it's getting tighter to do this as we go along. I think I could probably place it, well, yeah, like that. Now that dice tower will be sitting on top of a counter, but the counter is, a dice tower has kind of a rim around the bottom, so it's not quite as bad as it looks. And I'm going to grab a Union D6, a Confederate D6. So the Union, we are looking at rolling a D6, and we have 6 strength points. So we'll be on the 6 column. And then the Confederates are looking at 2 strength points. I'll be on the 2 strength point column. And let's just roll and see what we get. So the Union rolls a 4, so that's going to be a 6. No, that's going to be a, what did I say? They get a +1 for the commanding unit, commanding general. That's going to be a 5. This 5 will become a 7 because of entrenchments. So the Union, looking at the 6 column and reading down to 5, that is a 1 asterisk. And the Confederates, they are on the 2 column. They rolled a 7, so it is a 1 star. Asterisk beats star, though, so it was, both were 1 and 1, but the asterisk will, in fact, beat that star, so the Union will actually win this battle. Let me get the dice tower out of the way. Finally, the Union is going to march into Springfield. The first things first, we have to apply the losses, so we did lose a strength point. That's going to take Curtis down to 5. And then Van Dorn lost 1. That will take him down to 1. These entrenchments will disappear. And Let's see. So yeah, there are 2 in here. Now they have to retreat 2 spaces. They were in Springfield. Now which way do I want to retreat these guys? I guess we could just go back towards, so we're in Springfield. We could come back towards Fayetteville, try to hook up with that extra 1 strength point down here since we only have 1. We could also come this way, maybe coming back over towards the Western Theater. Let's just go back to, we're going to come back here, and then I'll have to also apply a demoralized marker to that stack. So we will do that, and then we're going to put Curtis into Springfield. And so that was Curtis actually was sitting outside Springfield, so he attacked Springfield. I think I can spend, he has 4 movement points. It was 1 to move into battle. I think I can spend another 1 to get rid of that control marker. So I'm going to take that out now, and we're going to say it's Union controlled. Actually, I guess I just flipped this to Union control. Well, we are going to show now that Curtis has finally taken Springfield. And so that, I believe, is going to be it for the first action point spent. And actually, I only moved him back 1. He needs to come back another. He needs to be, well, no, he needs to be right there, right? So 1, 2, that's right. All right, that's it. So that is the battle for Springfield. The Union has finally booted the Confederates out of Springfield, Missouri. So let's go ahead now and zoom back out. All right, so that was the first point. Now the second point is going to be in the west. And what do we want to do here? I kind of was thinking about merging these armies with, there's 4, and Halleck has, I think he has 6. That would be 10. Got to be careful. I don't want to leave anything open for the Confederates. What are they looking at here? They have 4. They're entrenched. And they have 8. So they got quite a stack developing here. And that's why I wanted to merge those armies. And so I think I am going to, Buell only has 4. And then Fremont, of course, has, oh, he has 4. Maybe we want to move Fremont here. Let's move Fremont. Let's see, make sure he's in the right theater, though. The Mississippi River, and he's just to this side. So, yeah, I guess that's a valid move. We're going to move him down into Cairo, right? And let's move him down to Cairo. By rail, he can do that. Doesn't really need to use rail, though, because he can move 3. So that's within range. So what's going on in Cairo? I got a big messy stack here. So we have Buell and Fremont. Both of those are 3. I'm going to leave Buell in command, so we're going to put him on top to show he is, in fact, leading that stack. So we got 4 plus 4. Yeah, that's 8. Do we have an 8? Should have an 8, right? No, I don't guess we have an 8. We'd have a 6 and a 2, so let's do that. We have 8. Buell is now remaining in command, so that's going to be our action point for the west and finally the east. And we had just put Banks in here. So he's got 6, and I'm fighting stacks again. I don't know why it's so easy to knock stacks over in this game, but it is. 4 in there, and I said he had 6. I don't know if we want to try to attack there or not. We also have McClellan, who is ahistorically sitting up here. Have McClellan attack Banks. He's outnumbered. We could have McClellan attack Banks. All right, what am I thinking about? Yeah, if McClellan would attack Banks, that we would definitely be in alternate history territory there. I'm looking at Banks. I should be looking at Joe here, Joe Johnston. McClellan attack Banks. He's got 4, 5. I don't think he could get, well, he could. He could go across those mountains, but he's cautious. He's 3. He could bring McClellan into this side of the mountains. He could go 1, 2. Maybe we not attack Banks. Not attack Banks, but maybe we want to move him over to Banks. But that would leave this wide open, so I don't think I want to do that. Must be getting tired. We got 5 in there. I guess we could also attack Manassas Junction again. There's 6 in there. 7 total. What do we have? 1. Yeah, 4. We don't want to attack that. What we could do is bring some more forces down from Washington. So we have 5 strength points sitting in Washington. And I probably should have moved those during strategic move, but I guess I forgot about them, but that's okay. I think we can move up to 3 of those. Why don't we do that? I'm going to bring 3 of these down. That's going to leave 2 in Washington. And again, it's there's a little risk here. You know, I want to keep a big number like that in Washington. It's a little risky to have a small stack like this, but we're going to do it. We're going to bring, what did I say? 3 of those because we're allowed to move 3 down. So that's going to 3, and the other 3. So that's going to give us 6 total, plus that 1 that you see there. Burnside is still our leader. Why is this 1 here? Let's put that under the 6. All right, so that's going to be the 3 action points spent for the north. Now we do have cards we could spend. I could spend one of the west cards, one of the east cards to take additional actions. And do I want to do that? Like I said, I do kind of want to get these armies together if I can. That 6 would be nice to merge. We want to try to take Bowling Green. Let's see, we've got that. They'd have to cross, I think that's a minor river. They'd have to cross the minor river, which would be a +1 to their movement. And Hollick can only move 3, so it would be 1, 2, 3 to get him over there. Of course, that would leave Henderson open to attack if I moved them all. I don't think Johnston, though, would want to abandon Bowling Green. He could split his forces. There's, like I said, there's a ton of generals in that stack. No, I'm going to say no. That's it for this half of the action cycle here for the Union. So that's their 3, 1 in each theater. And now we're going to go to the Confederates. The Confederates are going to spend 1 over here in the Trans-Mississippi. They can, let's see, there's 1 strength point left, right? And I'm looking at Van Dorn can move 5, so I think I'm going to bring him down to Fayetteville. Can certainly make it to Fayetteville. They are going to retreat to Fayetteville. And again, they have a Trans-Mississippi, an East and a West card. So now we will go to the West and see what we want to do. Take a quick look here again. Maybe we want to split some forces up here. I think we had 8. I don't think we want to split anybody up yet. This is still hotly contested territory. 8 and 6. I think what we could do, though, is we could spend a point to entrench these forces that are in New Orleans, I believe. I think I would like to do that. So we're going to entrench these guys here. And then that's going to leave us with the East. 2 there, and Joe is sitting up here with 4. I'm going to use that point on training, so we're going to boost that up to 3. I don't want to spend any card. Do I want to spend a card? I'm thinking maybe I want to spend the West card and build a fort in Nolens down here. Maybe I'll do that. Let's do that. Let's spend this West card. And let's start construction of a fort down here. That is 1 point spent in each. Was it 1 point spent in each theater? I think it was. Yeah, so let's go ahead now, and that's going to end this action cycle. So we're going to go into the second action cycle. But before we do that, I think this should be flipped over to its finished side. And I thought there was 1 more, but maybe not. So let's go ahead now and let's get the dice tower back out. Because we are going to now determine our next action cycle. So we're going up to action cycle 2. See who has the initiative and how many points we're going to get to spend again. That is a 6 and a 4. The Union will have the initiative with a difference of 2. Union now has the initiative, and then we'll get 2 points to spend in the theater of their choice. Okay, so the Union has 2 action points they can spend, the theater of their choosing. I'm going to spend 1 to bring this unit down. 1, 2, 3, leaving us with 1. And I think I'm going to use that to move Pollock. I think he's going to move. Oh, there was a fort under construction there. Maybe I want to leave him there for right now. Still need more forces. I want to try to knock the Confederates out of Kentucky is my goal. What's going on over here with Butler? There's a little 1. That's not going to do us any good. What to do? What to do? We go for Strasbourg. It's 4 there. And again, you got to be cautious because we have a stack here and a stack here to deal with. We do have McClellan we can bring around if we need to, or try to bring around if he moves. They'll have 6 to their 7. We could attack again, but they are entrenched. We could play a card. Oh, let's see. Buell, Fremont. Thinking about pulling Fremont out and sending him over here to Greenville. I think I'll do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring Fremont's going to come out. We'll give him 2. Now he can move 3. And to cross, that is a navigable river type 2, I believe. And let's look to cross that. And I'm going to cross here. I don't want to come down here. I want to cross here. So a type 2 navigable river. Type 1 and 2 is a +1, +2 if enemy controlled, but it's not enemy controlled. And there is a 1 by that. It says the +1 cost applies if navigable river is friendly controlled or uncontrolled. It's going to be a +1 to go across that river. 2 for a marsh, so he's 3. I think we're going to do that. We're going to move Fremont to here. He's moving towards this Confederate control marker. All right, so 2 action points. Was that 1? Had that been 1 or 2? I can't remember. That was 1 there, but I don't know if that was the second one. I think it was the first one. I can't remember. Let's go ahead and say it was the first one. I'll just move this other strength point into Springfield with Curtis. I think that's 2. And then we'll go to the Confederates. I hope that wasn't 3. If it was, let me know. If it was, I'll just get rid of one of these west cards before the start of the next turn. So now it's the Confederates, and they will get to spend their 2. What do they want to do? I'm just going to spend 1 to get rid of this demoralized marker. I can do that. 1 more to go. I'm just going to spend it to bring Magruder forward, I think. He can go 1, 2, 3. So that is going to be their 2, and that's going to be it for the second action cycle. So let's go ahead now and get the dice tower out again, and we're going to go to the third action cycle. Put this off to the side, that up here. And 6 and 4, the Union will get the initiative yet again. And there's a difference there of 2 again. All right. So with our 2, let's go back to Fremont, move him again. He is going to go 1, 2 to get him into the marsh, and then 3 will get him all the way to Greenville. That Confederate marker will stay there. You can't remove it. So that's 1 action, or yeah, 1 action point spent. And I'm a little thinking because I think I should have flipped a fort that was under here. Maybe I already flipped it. I thought there was a fort that needed flipping. I think maybe it was in Henderson. So this probably should have been flipped. There's probably another fort that should have been flipped. I'm going to flip this one too. It's not going to matter because by the time anything happens down there, it would have been flipped anyway if it shouldn't be flipped now. Okay, so that was one action point to move Fremont into Greenville, and we have another action point that we can spend. And I think I'm going to use it to take McClellan, and he's going to go, let's see, got to cross the mountains. I don't want him to take the railroad because that would allow Joe there to react. If we cross across the mountain, I think it's a plus, what is it, a +2? Across a mountainside is a +1 in movement. He is a 3, so it would be 1, 2, and then 3 to get to here. So that's going to be the 2 action points spent for the Union, and now we're going to go to the Confederates, and they are going to spend 2 action points. So do they want to maybe go over here and try to stop Fremont from doing anything? They've got 5, 6 total and 3 generals. And I'm wondering if maybe we want to break out this cavalry unit party. I don't think I want to do that. We still have Buell sitting there. That would leave us with 5. But I do want to go ahead and continue moving this guy forward. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to bring him up, leave us 1 left. And with 1, I am going to increase training yet again. I know that probably sounds crazy, but I want to trying to get as many strength points as I can get. That is going to do it, I think, for action cycle 3, right? So that was 2 for the Confederates. And I'm not forgetting about the cards. I know we have cards over here. So let's now go to the final action cycle. Let's go ahead and grab the dice tower. We'll have the 2 dice in there. And let's see what this final action cycle will be. Oh, that is the Confederates get to go first now. So the initiative goes to the Confederates, and we are looking at an On to Richmond event. So there's a difference of 5. Let's get the dice tower out of the way. And so with these 5 action points, that's good because in using this training, I could spend 3 of those really to immediately gain 1 strength point for the South. So that's a possibility. So with 5, let me get the D6 out too to keep track of these action points. I know I can do it on the status tracker, but I like using the dice. So let's see what the Confederates want to do. Fayetteville still sitting over here. How many strength points do they have in there? Just 1 measly strength point. I don't like that at all. In fact, I don't like that at all. So what I think I am going to do, and like I said, with these 5 action points that are not tied to any particular theater, I think I'm going to spend 3 of those, which will take the training up to 7, which will grant me an immediate action or strength point to play. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 3. That will take us down to 2, but the training goes back to 0. But we get an additional strength point for the Confederates. Let me grab that. And I'm going to grab the rule book real quick here to also the training actions for every 7. 1 additional strength point. The strength point arrives immediately, but must be placed in a friendly controlled resource hex, which Fayetteville is. It has line to communication to primary supply source. It does. Keep track using the training marker. We did. What it has earned, slide it to 0. We did. Strength point may not be activated or otherwise moved this action phase. That won't be a problem. If the last action point spent to complete training was for a particular theater, it must be placed. Well, that doesn't matter here. So yeah, we're going to put an additional strength point into Fayetteville. And I think that we can just flip this to 2 now. Like there were, how did that? Oh, there's already 1 there, so there's 3 total. That's what it is. We have 2 action points remaining for the Confederates. And I'm really just feeling like there's not a lot I can do without risking other territory. I mean, I really want to hold on to these 2 Kentucky cities. I don't really want to split forces or take people out of there. I'm in Stanton here. I do have 2 there. I really don't want to take Longstreet out of Stanton. I mean, I could try going back up into West Virginia with him. I also have Johnson sitting here with 2, 4. I don't really want to move forward. I don't really want to give up Strasburg either. I need more strength points is what I'm trying to say. So hopefully next turn we'll be able to get some more of those in. And with that said, yeah, just there's not a lot as the South here. I feel very restricted right now. I don't know. I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend these last two again. And we're going to take our training back up to 2. As crazy as that sounds. So that's going to end the Confederates action cycle. We'll flip that to the Union. And now the Union's going to go and they get 5 to spend. But they've got an on to Richmond event to resolve here. Need to attack a hex in Virginia. The obvious choice, I guess, would be Manassas again. So let's see. 6, 7. So with 7, let's see, does the South get to add in another? There's multiple generals there. So I think we determined that you could add, if it was greater than 6, that you could add an additional general's points. So yeah, 7 to 12, the commanding general plus 1 other friendly general in the hex. And so if they do attack, or we do attack Manassas, we have Stuart, we have Jackson, and we have Beauregard. So that is going to be a tough nut to crack if we attack. But I think as the Union, I think we need to. So let's go ahead and get this back out. So we're at 5 for the Union. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and zoom into Manassas again. All right, so we're going to spend an action point to attack in Manassas. We're entrenched in Alexandria, so we've got Buell, I think, or Burnside rather, was the commander, and we can leave McDowell behind with 1. I think we have to anyway, because, well, Burnside's a 2. And so wait a second here. So can Burnside, we just did this, right? So I think we can take along McDowell. So a 2-star can take 6, so we can only take 6. So we should leave McDowell behind, so we could attack with Burnside and his 6. And then the Confederates would be defending with 7. So we have 7. That means that we could use the subordinate general's defense here. So we have Jackson and Beauregard as Stuart, and his defense is a 2, although we can't use the 2 because it's in parentheses, which means only when he's operating alone. Let's put these back. There's 7 strength points, not 6. There's an additional one at the bottom of that stack. I'm just not showing it. And then we have these generals. So we get to use them both. We get to add both of their defense values into this defense here. So the Union will be adding the East card into this. So let's put that out. That's going to give them a +2 to the +2 DRM to the battle. So what are we looking at? A total of 6 strength points for the Union. They will get +1 for Burnside's attack factor. They will get +2 for playing the East card. So the Confederates are going to be on the 7 column. The first time we've seen that. And the Union will be on the 6 column. Let's get the dice tower into the shot here if we can. And we can almost get it here. I think we can see it there. So I'm going to grab a D6 for the Union and a D6 for the Confederates. And we will have another battle for Manassas. Let's see what happens. That is a 5 plus 5 is going to be 10 for the Confederates. And then a 3 plus 3, that's going to be a 6 for the Union. So looking at the Union first, so they're on the 6 column looking down to 6, they've rolled a 1 asterisk. And then for the Confederates, looking at the 7 column all the way down to 10, they get a 1 asterisk. That's going to be a tie, and in the case of a tie, there is no winner, but the attacker, which in this case is the Union, will have to back up to the space it entered the battle from. And so they are in full supply here, the Union that is, so they will not become demoralized here. So basically, it's each side's going to lose a strength point, and that is going to be it. So this will take Burnside. Let's get this East card out of here. Burnside's going to go down to 5, and he will have to back up into, I think that was Alexandria there. So let's go ahead and just put all these markers back on. And then these just go back, and we're going to lose one off of the 6, so that's going to go down to 5. Put Jackson on top there, so he is in command. And again, I don't know why it is so hard to handle these counters. Maybe it's the coding they use on them, but I have the hardest time keeping these counters straight in this game. There are some unwieldy stacks. I didn't think my fingers were all that fat. So that basically just nothing really happened there. They just each lost 1 strength point on the side. Stalemate. So let's go ahead and zoom back out now. Let me get this dice tower out of the way, and then we'll zoom back out. So that was one of their action points spent. We have 4 remaining for the Union. So 4 action points left. I'm going to spend another one of those action points, take us down to 3. And move, McClellan is now going to move into Harper's Ferry. McClellan's going to assume command from Banks, and there's now 11 units in there, or 11 strength points, I should say. So now a sizable force in Harper's Ferry, just like McClellan loves to have. And so now I'm going to spend another action point. What am I going to spend the other action point on? I think I'm going to spend another action point. This will take us down to 2, and I'm going to move Fremont. No, I'm not going to. Well, yeah, I'm going to spend. I was thinking that it would cost movement points to remove a control marker, but that's not true. I probably should have removed that when you first moved in there then. Let's get that out. So then what I do want to do is move Fremont. He can only move 3. I'm just going to move him up into Ironton right now. So he's going to move up there. We still have 2 points left that we could spend. We still have a couple of action cards too. I could march Curtis now down towards Fayetteville. He's got 6. And I think there were 2 in here. Yeah, there's 2 in there. 1, he can move 4. 1, 2, 3. What would that do for supply? He would be sitting here outside of Fayetteville. And he has 1, 2, 3 line of communication back to Springfield. So that would be in limited supply, I believe. I don't think I'm going to do that, though. What else do I want to possibly do? 2 action points to spend. I still feel like I want to do something up here, but I just hate to. I think maybe I'm going to march these out of here. There's 6 under Halleck. And I'd like to get those over to Grant over here. You move 3, and again, it would be 3 just to, it'd be 1, 2, 3 to get to here. That would leave the fort in Henderson, but that's okay. I don't think the Confederates would try to go that way. If they did, we could always come back. Yeah, let's spend 1 and go 1, 2, 3. Do I want to do that? I think so. I think we're going to do that. So we have 1 action point left to spend. We've already moved Fremont. I'd like to move him again, but I can't. And we did move McClellan, but we didn't move Banks. I don't really want to do that yet either. I could transfer leaders. There's nobody really want to transfer, though. I don't think there's really anything else I want to do. Not a whole lot going on this turn because it's a winter turn and there really weren't any additional strength points added to this. Things kind of came to a standstill. So kind of part of the design of the game, I would imagine, to indicate that it is a winter turn and maybe not as much happened. So with 1 additional move action point left, I should say, I don't really want to do anything, I guess. And again, the Union could also apply that towards training. Not as important for them to do that, though, because it's so much easier for them to get strength points. And I'm still tempted to move Curtis down to Fayetteville. Maybe we'll do that. Because again, that would put him in limited supply, but that's okay because he would avoid the effects of being totally out of supply. Maybe we march Curtis down. So let's spend that last point. Curtis is going to march down 1. What can he go? 4. 1, 2, 3. So he can come down to here. And that is going to do it for the final action cycle. So let's get the sequence of play card out. Now we are in the end phase. So first thing we look at is hex control, the control segment. And I think we're okay everywhere. Ship Island, I've never placed a control marker in there, and I guess maybe I should have. So we'll do that just to keep things straight. I don't think I missed it anywhere else. So that's the control segment. The intern rally, I think everyone that could be rallied is rallied. Automatic victory check. We're still not anywhere close to victory for either side. Now, one thing I may do, I mean, it is early in the game, but one thing I may do in one of these upcoming turns is show you where we stand and how we calculate the victory points, the automatic victory, and where each side stands, just to kind of run through that, but we won't do that quite yet. The next things on this is the naval repair and Confederate ironclad, so we don't have any of those. So that is going to end turn number 4. Again, not a lot happened. I didn't do a whole lot this turn because of the strength points. We didn't get any reinforcements really strength point wise. The South got 2, but that was hardly anything. So things kind of stood still. There were some battles though. There was the battle up in Manassas again. The Union managed to take Springfield and even march out down towards Fayetteville. So some action happening over here in the Trans-Mississippi, and I think that's it. It's been a long time coming to do this turn, and I've got Origins coming up, so it may be a while before you get to turn number 5, but we will get to it. And if you saw anything that I did wrong, again, please leave comments down below. That's going to help us learn the game. It's going to help me hopefully avoid making more mistakes in the future. So yeah, that's going to do it for turn number 4. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And as always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time.